Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Remember, if you love film, gaming, or television content, please consider clicking that subscribe button because today, due to the terrible nature of Australian release dates, I want to talk about a film I just recently saw in Pearl. So, let's get into it. So, as you probably already know, Pearl is the follow-up to Ty West's slasher film X, which I thought was one of the better films in the genre that I am generally not a fan of. I love the ensemble in that film, and as we know, Mia Goth just nails her dual roles as Maxine and Pearl, with the latter one being one of the most terrifying horror characters I've seen in recent memory, really. And if you are afraid of creepy old people in movies, this film will destroy you as it did with me. Pearl looks to explore the depths of that terrifying character in a very interesting character study that at times reminded me a little bit of Joker. Now, this style of film about following a villain into their descent into madness is something I really enjoy watching play out in a film, and I think Pearl does an excellent job of showcasing that and giving us a lot more depth to this character and makes X feel like something I have to watch again with this knowledge of this character's backstory now. Firstly, we have to talk about the performance in this movie as it is the central focus of Pearl. Can the Academy please get over their dumb mentality against horror films, because truly incredible performances are getting overlooked for really no reason. Best Actress could have been such a stacked category if both Margot Robbie in Babylon and Mia Goth in Pearl were included, but they are not. And that's just the world that we live in. Mia Goth carries this movie as she should, with a flawless performance. She transforms into this deeply disturbed character with ease, and as the film progresses, we get more and more scenes of her giving some truly captivating moments. The final shot in particular, which unfortunately I had spoiled for me due to the extremely late release date in Australia, but that doesn't matter. It was so captivating to watch. It goes from something that feels oddly sweet in this sickening way to just straight up disturbing, and all that credit goes to Mia Goth and her transformation into Pearl. Ty West also gives some excellent direction too. The stylistic choices feel purposeful and add to the commentary that the film wants to discuss. The color palette and costume design just give me Wizard of Oz vibes, which capture the time period really well, similar to what X did with its late 70s style. The way he also decides to make cinematographer Daniel Pearl hold on these close-ups of Mia Goth giving a monologue where she is nowhere near close to breaking character was mesmerizing and once again captures the difficulty of her performance. I also do think the ensemble here is great, with Tandy Wright in particular giving some great scenes that really help enhance the character of Pearl even further. There is one scene where a thunderstorm is happening that was one of the first in this film that really captivated me, as all these great elements of terrific screenplay, direction, and performances come together for a wonderful scene. In terms of small things holding this back, I feel like the pacing was on the slower side in brief moments, not the whole movie, just small points. And as this is a part of a trilogy, it's hard to think of how important this film will be. After seeing this, I almost feel like Pearl should have been first and X should have been the sequel. I'm going to quickly spoil X, so if you don't want to hear anything about that movie, please skip ahead about 30 seconds and I'll be done. As we get to the end of X, Pearl got murdered, so she probably won't be in Maxine. It feels like if Pearl was first, it would add more to the character and give a pretty interesting continuation where she is now the person she is in X. Also, I don't really see this as a bad thing myself, but someone else might, so I just want to manage expectations here. Pearl really isn't as much of a pure horror film that X is. As mentioned before, it is more of a character study. Pearl is a pretty twisted character, so there are definitely unsettling moments that make this feel more like a thriller, but in terms of full slasher moments and just really creepy scares, it doesn't have as much as X, so I just thought I'd let you know that. Like, I would watch this from start to finish without hiding from the screen. Well, with X, there are so many moments where it was just hard for me to watch because I found it pretty terrifying at times. Now, that is me not saying that there are no slasher elements, because there are, and they are handled really well in Pearl. The choices in using music or no music, the dynamic camera work, always putting the focus on Pearl, shows how unhinged she is truly becoming. With all that said, I do feel like X and Pearl are very different films, and I really enjoy both of them. And if Maxine can stay around the same quality, we are looking at one of the best horror trilogies in recent memory. I'm going to give Pearl a 4.5 out of 5, and I am verging on a 5, but I really need to see how this ages in terms of its status as a trilogy and how important this film will be overall. But what does it matter though? This film is excellent, and I highly recommend it to you if you haven't seen it yet. A24 just has the best selection of horrors and thrillers out there, and I don't think it could ever be matched, to be honest with you. I also just want to add quickly that if you are not a fan of A24, I know some of you are out there. I know they can be pretty divisive at times, and some of their films can feel quite inaccessible, but this trilogy feels a lot more direct in its nature and makes this feel more like a crowd-pleasing set of horror movies. So I highly recommend you watch both X and Pearl if you're a fan of horror in general. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me in the comments below what you think of Pearl, and what do you think about how this is going to be as a trilogy. I personally think that it was kind of a genius idea, and Ty West clearly had a plan to write and direct all three films. And I think when it's all said and done, this will be his magnum opus. I am annoyed at the Oscars snub, but it was kind of expected due to the horror bias. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.